Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anita and I like to do videos on finance, career, lifestyle, and more. Today we're going to be doing a video about how you can get a job you love or actually like or are content with. I feel like very few of us are going to find a job that we love in this lifetime because work's not fun, you know? I don't know, unless like you're working with puppies or babies and you like babies. Yeah, I know a lot of us are in jobs that we don't like, and I want to help everyone find a job that they would like better. So let's talk about how you can get a job that you're content with. But before we get started, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a sustainable jewelry brand that I really love. They are carbon neutral and they only produce enough jewelry so that they can sell it, and then they produce more after that. I'm wearing a number of their pieces today. I love them. They're really the only jewelry I wear now. So I love these two pieces here. There's like this chain link one. It's really beautiful. And another little chain as well. And then I love bangles as well because they're like one size fits all and you don't have to get them resized ever. And they're just so shiny. And then the earrings I'm wearing as well. I love these little hoop ones. They're all like, all of Ana Luisa's jewelry is very like interesting and like you can't get it anywhere else, you know? But I love this. This is called the Duo, and then this is just a little hoop. And then a chain link necklace. These are great gifts. I know Valentine's Day is coming up and you're going to want to take advantage of the deals that Ana Luisa has on now. You should definitely pick up a few pieces for yourself or your significant other, or even get them this little travel pouch. I really love this little travel pouch. You're able to put so much stuff in it and it's just like the perfect gift. So get yourself or your significant other a little travel pouch and fill it with Ana Luisa jewelry. There are a ton of different little sections for rings, necklaces, bracelets, and I love the little mirror. It's so compact. You buy one, you get one 40% off. Their jewelry is so beautiful. And you don't even need a code. It just automatically applied at checkout. You can get pearls, there's gold, there's customizable jewelry, there's bangles, all kinds of things in the trendiest, latest styles, so your significant other will be happy no matter what. Definitely check it out. Head to their website now and get on some of these deals. You're going to be able to find discount links down below and more information. Definitely check them out as they, again, are my favorite jewelry brand. Just a little bit of background. I'm on my second job, so I guess not that much experience, but I went from a job that I didn't really like to a job that I do like. So now let's talk about my top values and what I was looking for when I was changing jobs. I'm just going to list these out and then we'll go into more detail on how you can actually figure these things out before you apply or even go in for an interview. So the first thing I wanted was a job that aligned with my personal values. I wanted to work somewhere that aligned with my political beliefs. I work in more of a political space, but if you want to work somewhere that makes a lot of money and that's what you value, look for somewhere that makes a lot of money, you know? The second thing I wanted was a job that pays well and has good benefits. I was not happy with my pay. I had recently found out how much everyone else was making at my job and I was not happy with it. And I wanted to work somewhere that paid me fairly for my work. And I think everyone should look for something like that. Unpaid internships suck. Don't go looking for unpaid internships. Those are classist and racist. A job with an appropriate work culture. We'll get more into what that means in a little bit. I also wanted a job with capable and respectful colleagues and a job with opportunities for growth. These are what I listed. I might think of something later and add this on. Now, I want to say this very clearly. I know that a lot of people cannot leave their jobs and go searching for a new one, okay? I know that some people's jobs, they've been there for a long time and they're getting paid just enough and they need to keep that job in order to not be, to lose their job and not be able to pay for their living expenses, okay? Hopefully with our movement, this movement that's growing with the workers, calling for pay equity can change those situations for you. If you are in the position to be able to ask for more or look for a different job, I would recommend doing so. You know, don't tell your employer that you're looking for a new job. You know, just come with the new jobs and be like, hey, what's up? I'm out unless you give me like 30K. But we're just gonna get started on the first section, which is, for me, I wanted a job that aligned with my personal values. So the first thing that I typically do is, you know, I look through the job posting and I see what it says, you know, neighborhood change. Let's say that's what it's called. Okay, they want change in their neighborhood. What kind of change do they want? Do this align with my values? And if I find something that I'm interested in looking into more, I will Google them, look up their values, look up their social media, look up their Glassdoor, things like that, just to gauge better if they align with my values. For example, if you're looking for like a job in investment banking, I feel like that's pretty easy because you're just looking for a job in investment banking. It's not much about values, I would say, except for maybe like partnership and things like that. And we're gonna talk about that later. I would also look up the staff and see what they value. A lot of these companies, especially if they're smaller, will have staff pages where you can see people's names. I'll look these people up, check their Twitter, things like that, just to see what they value, if their values align with what the company says, because that means that they're hiring people who value the same stuff. And if you're working with people that value the same things as you, I feel like things are going to be little bit easier. Another thing, once you get into the interview, I would just ask the staff. Especially, it's even better if it's actual like staff and not like hiring managers and things like that. But even the hiring managers, ask what they value. If they just say things like good work and like teamwork and leadership, like that's like basic, really boring answers that like they're regurgitating back to you because that's what they think is the best way to go about this question, but it's not. I feel like if someone was more open with you about what they value, like I value my family, I value my children, I value my time that I can have with people, you're gonna know that these people have that in their lives, which is they have more time for their family. They're not just focused on leadership and whatever, they're focused on having a good life outside of work. Okay, so I ended up finding a job at somewhere. So the first job aligned with my personal values. Technically, it was for lowering prescription drug prices, and that's something I believe in. The next job aligned with my personal values as well, and in that it was like building the power of low-income people of color. That aligns with my values as well. But the difference here was that I was able to get to know some of the staff at the second one before I interviewed. I got to know what they appreciate. I got to know what they looked like. I got to know what they valued. For example, I was looking for a place with a diverse set of people that I could work with because as a Latina, that's just something I value. And I was able to find that by looking at the staff who I was working with. It was a very diverse group of people, and I knew that I wouldn't face some of the challenges that I faced at my first job. So I think it's really important to get to know the staff, ask about the staff, look at who's in leadership at the company. There's a lot of people of color in leadership at my place, and that's something I wanted to see. And so the difference between my first job and my second job, I just obviously mentioned it. The personal values were similar, but also the way that they showed it was different. I wanted more diversity. I wanted more people that looked like the people we were serving in the organization, and I was able to find that. So that's something I really looked for when I was interviewing and applying to jobs. So the next one is obviously a job that pays well and has good benefits. Okay, I have so many colleagues, not colleagues, I have so many people my age who are working shit wages, have no benefits, and are just like, oh, this is just how the system works. Maybe in a few years I'll be getting paid more money. You know, my company is gonna reward me for my hard work. No, they're not. They don't care about you. They're not gonna reward you for your hard work. You're gonna have to beg and plead in your performance interviews for that raise, because that doesn't happen. And so I would go into this looking for a job that pays well. You know, obviously this isn't available in some industries, but looking for a union, looking for a job that pays well, not just like in general, but for that specific place that you're looking for. I know lots of people who live in San Francisco and work in tech who were offered $120,000. They were like, oh my God, I'm rich. No, not in San Francisco. So look for pay that's appropriate. Now I'm gonna tell you how to find that information out, because I know that there's a lot of salary untransparency, not transparency, in the work culture of America. So I would just recommend only applying to places that actually list the salary range for that position, okay? Because then you know that they're not gonna try to like give you less money than someone else. They're not gonna try to whatever. And so I applied for a place that showed the amount of money that my position goes for, okay? So let's say it was like 65 to 75 or something, right? So that was a huge increase from my first job, and I knew I wanted a pay increase because I felt like I was undervalued. And so I only applied to jobs that, whether it was listed or I could figure it out through Glassdoor, that would pay more, because I was only going to be willing to take a job that paid more. Apply for jobs that list pay. Check Glassdoor. Glassdoor can be a really good way to gauge pay, especially for bigger companies that collect this information. If you want to work at a bigger company, you can look up exactly how much people are paid, like just from people giving information. Keep that in the back of your mind when you're applying. These companies are always going to lowball you with pay, okay? So my job asked me how much I wanted to be paid. There's a range there. I asked for the most. It was like 60 to 70 or something, I don't remember. And I was like, I want 70. Did I deserve 70? I don't know, but I wanted a 70, okay? Because they put that range there, they're willing to pay someone 70, why not me, okay? I have also been on the other side where I screen applicants, and some people will put like 65, 67, 62 because they don't want to seem greedy. No, ask for the most. They have the money to do that. Especially if they're a big corporation, they have the money to give you. They have the money to give you triple that, because that's what the CEO is making. So ask for the top of the range if it's listed. If you see something on Glassdoor and there's a range, ask for the top of that range as well. Ask for something ridiculous, okay? Also, another tip, do not work for nothing or for promises of future pay. Some people may be interviewed and they'll be like, oh, well, we'll talk about this later. You know, like there's promises, like there's an opportunity for a raise later on. You know, we can discuss it then. No, get the salary that you want, okay? Negotiate and ask for way too much. Like for example, I just negotiated a pay rise and I asked for like 20,000 extra. I know they have it, you know, I didn't get it, but like I asked for 20,000 extra. They were probably like, what the freak? You know, because then they're not going to give me like 1,000. They're going to give me a closer amount to keep me happy, and then we'll just run our way, you know? So get the money that you deserve, ask for a ridiculous amount, and don't take unpaid internships. Don't work for free, because your labor is valuable, okay? And your time is valuable, and you should, there's a fly, and you should be getting paid the amount that you deserve. Okay, so this was another one, a job with appropriate work culture. So this was something that I was very unhappy with at my old job. I didn't feel like there was good boundaries between workers and personal life. I didn't like that we kind of, like they kind of said that we were like friends or family. Yeah, there was just some elements that I didn't like. I'm kind of a private person, and I felt like in order to succeed at that job, you had to be very friendly, you had to be very invested in everyone else's lives, and they had to be invested in yours. They wanted to know things about you. I remember like being very upset. I didn't show it, but I remember the executive director once sat me down and he said to me, Rachel, I feel like I don't know you. Why aren't we friends? Because he was friends with everyone else and they were all doing very well. And I was just like, because you're my, like I didn't say this, but I was like, you're my executive director. You're not particularly treating me the same as the other employees. And that's none of your business to know what's going on in my life. I might be going through something pretty difficult and it's just not today. That's my personal information and I don't owe it to you. What I owe you is labor, and what you owe me, money for that labor. I'm fine with being friends with my colleagues, but if that's what's needed to succeed in the corporation or the organization, that's not what I want. So I wanted to find a place with a clear boundary between friends and family. I wanted to be respected for the value I brought to the organization. I wanted to be praised on that. I wanted to be given raises on that because I perform extremely well, and I wanted that to be the basis of my success, not whether I was super friendly with the executive director, you know? And so I particularly looked for a place that said, well, first said that they would do this. I worked for a more progressive organization, and in the progressive space, there's a lot of discourse around stopping the family vibe at work. So I automatically assumed that this, you know, like this progressive organization should live up to those standards. So there was already that thing. The next thing that I did was I asked during the interview to the staff that I was speaking to, like, how often are you working in the weekends? What's the rapport between you and your colleagues? And what I was told was very much like, they're all very nice, we collaborate, and we'll occasionally get together for happy hour or whatever. So I feel friendly with my coworkers, which is great. We respect each other, we value each other, and we help each other professionally. but I didn't want to be forced to be friendly with someone when I didn't need to be. For example, my first day ever at my job, so everyone on my team is like a person of color who's female, and then the head, naturally, is a white male, and he made a joke, and I walked in and I was like, that's so funny. That's so funny. Because that's what I would have had to do at my old job. Nobody else laughed. Silence. All these women were like, I'm here for work. And I very quickly realized that we don't need to kiss up to anybody. We don't need to like pretend that someone's jokes are funny. We don't have to like do all this stuff. It was just, we're there for work. My boss is goofy. And you can laugh, it's funny, but you're not forced to. And I like that environment. There's no kissing up to anyone. There's no pretending. You're just there for work and you respect each other for that. Now, some people might want that like friend vibe, and that's fine. Like, I would definitely be friends with some of my colleagues, but I think that doesn't need to be, it's something that shouldn't be required. It's something that would naturally happen. I feel like the only reason that hasn't happened at my job is because we work remote. Otherwise, I would definitely be friends with some of my colleagues. So when you're looking for a job with appropriate work culture, I would suggest these things, okay? I would suggest looking for in the job posting for language like, you'll be a rock star, you're gonna be part of our family, you know, like, or ready to give everything to the success of this company. Yeah, what, my freedom, my time with my family, my happiness? Not today. No weird family stuff. We're family, you know, like, no, they're gonna fire you if they don't like you. They're not your family once they fire you, you know, but they expect you to give them everything. So another like weird language that I would just add to the appropriate work culture bit is loyalty. Like, we expect your loyalty. Like they're not gonna give you loyalty back. They'll fire you. You know, remember that. They don't care. So the next thing I want to talk about is a job with opportunities for growth. That's something that was important to me. I was kind of stuck where I was and at my old job, and I wanted somewhere that I had real opportunities for growth, and not just like, oh yeah, maybe in a few months or at your work performance review, we'll talk about it. In order to like achieve this, I would recommend asking employees you may interview about this, just asking them, oh, like, how has been your career progression here? What would you say that's like? Are there opportunities for growth? Is there an actual pipeline for people to grow? Because some places, they'll just stick you where you are and then they'll never let you grow. You can also assert during the negotiation phase, after you negotiate the highest salary, that you want a 6-month check-in about growth and pay, because you want more. Naturally, always negotiate like a 6-month check-in or a route in writing for growth. You know, you want a manager who's going to work with you directly, especially if you're going to talk to the manager, person who's going to manage you. Make it very clear that you expect to grow and you want to grow. If you're doing more work than you're supposed to be, let that be known and tell them you expect to be compensated accordingly. I did this recently after our director left, who was my manager. I was like, hey, I'm doing her job, and I'm also doing this other job that y'all didn't hire for. Where's the money? Where is the money? You know, and just say, and I hope to be compensated accordingly. Let's talk about that. I want this much, and then they'll get back to you. You know, I want this much, or I expect someone to be taking the tasks away from me ASAP, because I'm not getting paid for this, or just don't do them. And then they'll see how much they need you, and then they'll pay you more. But yeah, so make sure to assert to your potential manager that you expect growth, you know, and you want to grow, and let that be known. You know, like right now I might be a digital organizer, but I want to reach senior digital organizer, and I'd love to hear from you how I can do that. What steps can I take to achieve that? And then they'll tell you, and then once you achieve them, you come back and you're like, hey, I've done these things, money and raise or promotion. There we go, that's the word I'm looking for. So those are things that I would recommend to people to get a job that they like, okay? Because I feel like when you're not getting paid appropriately, you're not going to be happy, because you can't starve. I mean, because you're starving, you can't pay your rent, you're having a hard time, and that sucks, and that causes tons of stress, okay? But if you're getting paid enough, you can pay for your stuff and you can survive. Important. Okay, benefits, important as well. If you can get benefits, great. If you can't get benefits, ask for more money because you have to pay for that stuff, right? A job with an appropriate work culture. If you have a work culture that's mean, or they're yelling at you, and they're calling you like lazy and all this other stuff, like, not today. That's going to affect your happiness. You need to work somewhere that you're respected, that you're not treated as family when you know that they would fire you in an instant, where they respect you and there's boundaries, and they're not calling you at 9 p.m. Because that's your family time. They're not paying you for that unless they are overtime, okay? And overtime should always be a lot more, right? And then a job for opportunities for growth. I know none of us want to remain stagnant, or at least want more money. Like, I don't think I'd want to be a director, but I definitely want to get paid more as time goes on and as I gain more skills and gain more knowledge about my subject matter. So I expect to be paid more for that as time goes on. Some final tips is, if you can, look for a unionized workplace. Unionized workplaces tend to be better with pay, with benefits, with work-life balance, with all of these things, okay? Unions, great. I'm unionized, I love it, wouldn't go back. So the last thing I want to close with here is, you can definitely apply these things to if you already are in a job and you want to make it better. You know, like, talk to your manager and say, hey, I want to grow, you know, let's increase my pay and let's do that, you know. Or if you know that people are getting onboarded with pay higher than yours to the same position, be like, hey, I saw that job posting, you're hiring people $3 more. Where is my money? You know, and they're gonna be like, no. And you're gonna be like, bye, right? So those are just some tips, but I do understand that not everyone can put these into motion, that not everyone can work a job they love. Hopefully some of these tips help you to make your job more tolerable. You know, just even one or two of these tips, implementing them into your life can hopefully make your work a little bit easier. Now, I want to close off by thanking Anna and Luisa. Again, the discount codes are down below. Definitely go check them out and buy a few pieces for your loved one this Valentine's Day, or for yourself. I would highly recommend them. Again, they're sustainable, we've got discount codes, and they're great.